Hey, welcome back to another YouTube video. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brennan. I'm the founder of Bout and also a personal brand and online business coach. Now, today I got something special because I got a dear friend of mine joining us, Tony Way, who I used to bartend with back in the day in San Diego. Would always talk about providing high-level cocktail making classes for pre-prohibition cocktails. And now he's living in the bourbon capital of the world. And he found himself in a really awesome position to actually get this thing started. So we dive into a lot about the confidence and just knowing that you have everything you need to get started. And that's one thing that hangs up most people when starting their own business or quitting their job or really just getting into any project that they've been talking about for a long time, right? You don't need a whole bunch of stuff. All we need to do is just get started. So brought on my good friend Tony to talk about these things and what it's been like working together. And if at the end of the video you want to learn more about the Bout Blueprint, how to build out your personal brand and even get your business started, whether it's in person or online, go ahead, click on that video, or the link in the video description below so you and I can schedule some one-on-one time to talk about this thing and what that process looks like specifically for you. Okay? But enough about that. Without further ado, let's get into our talk. And I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Way. What's up, Tony? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. How about you?
Doing really good, man. I'm glad that we can finally schedule some time together.
Yeah, I've been busy, really busy. With, work, business, the kid, the wife. It's a lot going on, but wanted to try and set some time aside to, help you out like you helped me, man.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I know you got a lot going on, but we're all trending those things in the right direction. So I'm happy to see that you've been making progress and taking good direction and really putting the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you to thank for a lot of that, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, man. So yeah, let's get into this thing. So
Okay.
just for the people that are watching, can you tell us a little bit more about your story, like what it is that you do, what program you've been able to build, and also how long have you been trying to make this happen?
Okay. I'm from east side of the country. Moved out west to chase bigger markets, hospitality professional. So I've been in and out of restaurants for almost 23 years now, about 15 and a half when I got my first hospitality job. Western sizzling buffet server,
Oh yeah.
bringing home about 60, $70 in cash a night. The allure of the quick dollar was there, and then turns out pretty good at it. Fast forward to after college, found myself on the West Coast. Where I ran into you, and we got to learn from some of the world's greatest cocktail minds, and got to open up a bar together, which was just epic. So, just like every other bartender, you kind of feel like you make it to a certain point, and then now what, right? Like there's this running joke where you either
Yeah.
become a brand rep or sell real estate or something, and I
Yeah.
just like I didn't want that for myself, right? So not saying that's not where anybody should do, because I think it's fine living in both of those professions, but I
Hmm.
didn't want to become a part of the meme, right? So started managing and helping write some bar programs, and all the while I'm just like started thinking like what is the move? What is how do I get myself behind the rail in a teaching situation without, having to do the high volume Friday, Saturday night nonsense that I just, frankly, I just
Hmm.
can't be a part of anymore with a 1 year old son and a wife, and trying to balance that home life stuff. So, um, this idea of, teaching cocktail classes, just kind of popped up. And what I was doing in Seattle, San Diego, places like that was, another fish in a very really large pond. But where I am now, I realized quickly that like I'm head and shoulders like ahead of a lot of the talent here, and not in a you know sort of this braggart type of way, but just wow, like I have a lot to share. And I think so with that knowledge, um, you know, people come sit across the rail from me, and you make me something, and I make them something that I've made 100 times in one of these big cities. But this is the best cocktail I've ever had.
Hmm.
Never seen like this before. Wow, amazing. So I was like, I'm just going to start teaching regular people how to do this. Figured out a price point that kind of works for like the average cocktail price around town, um, and put together like a little program. It's like basically three drinks, some food, $65, and people are loving it, eating it up, and I'm selling out tickets every weekend. I'm still having to kind of work at the hotel that I work at, just to kind of. It's been a great marketing tool, actually. Staying there, meeting people, and hand out business cards and stuff. But we're pretty close to like turning this into a full-time hustle, man. So it took me about, I don't know, I'd say about a year in planning and kind of organizing, a business plan together, organizing some packages and some price point stuff. And then I'd say probably the first 6 months is where I started to kind of run into a little bit of a wall, trying to do too much, trying to like make everything absolutely perfect right off the bat. And that's kind of when I had been keeping my eye on, what you had been doing. You're a great friend of mine, right? I follow you on social media and stuff. And that's when the idea was just like, I need to call Brennan, kind of get some help with the organizational side of stuff. And then um, since we've done that, man, things are great. What's up, buddy? Sorry, my son is chiming in on our call here.
Oh, all good. He's making a special guest appearance.
Yes, sir. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lost my train of thought there.
All good, all good. So you essentially, I mean, just to sum everything up that we were just talking about, we met in the bar industry, working together, building up the bar to become now what's an amazing, almost staple in one of the neighborhoods in San Diego now.
100%. Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
blown away by it every time I see stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Every time I go back, I'm like, oh man, like this is crazy. But I remember you were talking about putting together a cocktail class even then, like putting together like a little side project and having that, and
Sure.
putting together different presentation decks and stuff until, fast forward a couple years, now you were finally able to make that happen. See, I want to say maybe since 4 years or 4 or 5 years since we last talked about doing that stuff.
Yeah, 6 years idea, 4 years planning, but life is happening. You're having a kid, you're getting married, all this type of stuff, and so COVID, right? And then so now we're on the other side of that, and just kind of provided me a lot of time to really kind of figure out, next steps, and then of course, that moment, that aha moment when I reached out to you, it kind of just changed everything. So
Yeah. So before reaching out to me, what were some of the things that you struggled with? And then also, what was that thing that made you feel like, okay, now I actually got to make the step and reach out and get a little bit of help?
well, absolutely organization. Like I said earlier, there was this. I kind of see the end thing and then try to work towards that. And in my head, I have this exact, vision of this thing. And but to get there, it's expensive, and without brand recognition and without all these things, I'm not even sure that was a realistic vision, right? And so I think that's actually kind of what kept me from taking the first step for years. And then I guess after speaking with you, and that's when I realized that what I know and what I have is enough to get started. So I guess, and then what really made me finally decide to call you, I think, was just that I was getting frustrated, honestly, and I thought, if I don't, I, you see the self help videos on Instagram and all that, and it's like, I don't need that, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm smart enough, I'm motivated enough, like. But it turns out, like, even the world's smartest people need coaches, and like, need
Yeah.
somebody to kind of help them, rein in their thoughts, and kind of just like, hey, like, you got it, but like, you're all over the place. Like, so yeah, I think just kind of getting frustrated with the idea of, this might not ever happen. So I can't get over this, you know, out of my own way, basically. So I think that was
Mhm.
when all right, man, well, let's see what my boy's talking about. And yeah, that's kind of what pushed me to call you.
Nice, man. So yeah, it was that. I don't know. I feel like there's something more clever than this, but basically, yeah, like you said, you're kind of getting in your own way, kind of a little bit of limiting beliefs and think that you needed to be way up there, but really you just needed to get started and maybe just someone to show you that it was actually possible to get started with
I think
as little as
I
possible.
think so, man. Because what I'm what I realized pretty instantly was that when I was able to do me in front of the guests, it didn't really matter. Like, it
Hmm.
didn't care. They didn't care what that we weren't using like high-end bar equipment. They didn't care that, the space wasn't exactly the way I let. They were just happy to be there in front of somebody who really cares about them and wants to make sure they're
Hmm.
having a good time. And, that it was genuine. It wasn't just, this pretentious guy who thinks he knows it all. It was actually, the whole vibe is kind of turned into this like, hey, let's hang out and I'll show you how to do this cool thing if you want. But if you don't, just follow along and you'll have a good time anyway. And yeah, that's it's been pretty rad.
Yeah. And then soon after you realize like, oh, all the fancy bells and whistles that you thought you needed, more so just a bonus that
That's
can come
yeah,
along
icing.
whenever.
Yeah, sorry, I missed. I forgot to. Yeah, like all of that
All good.
is it's icing, right? Like I kind of got caught up in the moment there, but
All
forgot
good.
what we were kind of talking about. But yeah, like the the realization that I'm enough, like just me is enough, and all of that other stuff is great. And when we get there, all it's going to be able to let me do is charge more, right? Like, but at
Hmm.
the moment, right, like what I'm what I'm doing, I'm making up the effort with just my consideration, my compassion, and my love for this. So yeah, like you said, all that other stuff, just bells and whistles, man. Like I'm plenty.
Yeah. The most important thing is that
Thanks
you
for
get
helping me
started.
realize that. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So were there any things in particular that we talked about or that we did that help you break past that hurdle or have that realization?
Yeah, I think primarily it was just like getting my thoughts like under control and focused and organized and trying um, a lot of times, I like to think of myself as an idea guy. And I remember like in our first kind of couple conversations, just throwing all of this stuff at you. Like, just kind of like, yo, let's dial it back, minimal productivity. Like, what is the things you have right now, this very second? Like, can you, can you give a class? Can you do a class? And started to think about it, looking through all the stuff, and it turns out I could. And with the things that I thought I needed to keep going, we're into our like fourth month of selling out classes. I'm not having to buy a single thing since we had that conversation. Besides groceries and ingredients to make syrups and
Right.
things, but just that that hey Tony, like you're wonderful, you're great, your ideas are amazing, but the very first one you had is working just fine. Let's focus on that one, and then let's
Hmm.
build off that. Getting me to kind of bringing me back down to earth a little bit, kind of just was absolutely paramount in like getting this thing moving at all. And here we are, a few months later, after all this years of thought, and we're generating profit.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes you gotta come down from the clouds of your dreams and come down to earth just so you can deliver to people, and then you can go back up there. Gotta start at chapter one before you can get to chapter 15.
Heard that.
Yeah,
That was
man.
and that's been, I think that's been the best advice that I've been able to get from you is just stop getting my own way. Just go start doing it right now. Go start doing it. And it was painful. Like 'cause
Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist at times, and some I like to be really thorough, and it felt like I was cheating myself or cheating, the guests. And it turns out, man, it's not the case at all. Like people are having a blast with exactly what I got. So we'll get there.
So how is the program doing now? I know you mentioned a little bit ago that you've been selling out of classes and it's been rolling. I know I've seen you on a couple, like I saw you on the news the other week. Like you've been
Yeah,
doing some things, man.
yeah. I'm shaking some hands, bro. Where obviously, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm in Kentucky, and the bourbon boom has really made people curious to cocktails, as but they're only drinking old fashions, right? Like, and why is that?
Hmm.
Is that because they don't know? Are they when they see this menu? Are they intimidated by the menu? Are they afraid to ask what a Verna is? Are they afraid to ask what Benedictine is? So they're just, I'll have an old fashioned. So turns out they really do want to drink better. They're curious.
Hmm.
And so the idea was born like, instead of just cocktail classes, let's actually just flip the script here and just let's teach people how to make some cocktails with stuff they got at home. Remove the pressure, the fear, the anxiety of cocktail menus, and like let's just let's do this thing. Let's just have a good time for a couple of hours. So
Hmm.
program's going great. We're doing themed uh, cocktail classes. Like we just did one for the Barbie movie and sold it out like within an hour. Like
Hell yeah.
it went up. We put it on the put it on Instagram. Hey, Barbie class within an hour and a half. We pretty much sold out.
Nice. And how far ahead are you guys sold out?
Um, we're not sold out into September yet. So those are slowly trickling in at the moment. So it usually happens for something like the popular classes, bourbon classes, the rum classes. Those kind of sell out pretty quickly. Gin classes, that doing a class of martinis and doing a class on the evolution of the old fashioned. Those surprisingly, people are less interested in.
Yeah, so you got, I know for a little bit you were sold out a couple weeks ahead of time, and then obviously that Barbie class sold out within the hour. So with that, how would you say, I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but yeah, how would you say that this and going on this journey, actually taking this step has changed your not only your life, but your relationship with your work?
Oh, start with the work part. It's a whole newfound love for cocktails. Like the deep dive in the Instagrams, or sorry, the internet searches, the scouring through cookbooks and I'm sorry, recipe books, and you know a couple of really rude guests through the years, kind of make you start to feel a certain way, and just
Yeah.
like maybe I'm better than this, and maybe I shouldn't be, but it's what I like doing, and so yeah, fallen all over, head over heels with cocktails again. It's been really fun. And then, as far as changing me, it's giving me a lot more freedom to be at home with my family, and which is great. So, yeah, really stoked.
Speaking of family,
Yeah,
they're over there. All right, cool. We're gonna wrap this thing up pretty soon. But if you could
sure.
tell us maybe like what's something that you were lacking before you started this program, or just before you started, you know, really building your business that you feel like you've been able to gain since then?
Um, Confidence in myself, and just believing that, following the process and seeing the results from that work is just I don't know how to put it into words. It's
Mm,
when you it's like when the feeling when you cross off the last thing on a to-do list, like of like accomplishment, right?
mhm.
Gaining that confidence to take the step, to do the work, to see the accomplishment, and it's just this like just keeps refilling, like
Pride, I think,
yeah,
is the word. You're proud of
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, man, yeah. That's it, straight up.
Yeah, man, you should be, dude. Put in a lot of work to make this happen, and it's real now. It's not just an idea. It's not a, oh, we'll see how it goes. It's going and it's going well.
Yeah, and honestly, man, it's I've got other people courting me for other things now. It's I'm having to sign non-disclosure agreements and all types of stuff, man. Like, being here now with the knowledge that I have has really kind of set me apart from everybody
Yeah.
else, and people are starting to notice. So, like you said, we got people asking me to go on the news and make cocktails, and you know, yeah, it's been wild, man. It's been wild.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think I saw you featured in the newspaper, on news channels. But if you could tell anyone that's watching this, what are the three of the most valuable things that you learned from me and working together? Whether it be in this program or just our time and working together as a total.
I'd say working with you, um, it's stay driven for sure, stay healthy for sure. Do your best to keep your mind right and keep your body right, and a lot of things will follow. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. Look at me. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Like the
I do
picture,
what I can,
picture
you
of
know?
happiness and health. Yeah. Look at this guy.
Yeah, man. Well, I got
Always
good
trying to be
friends
like
like you
me.
to thank for me. Or I got
No,
good friends like you to thank to keep me
I know what
happy.
you meant, but no, but
Yeah.
you had it right the first time. You had it right the first time.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there is anyone that you feel like, or if there's anyone watching this that might be on the fence about joining my program or working with me, what words would you have to tell them?
Look at me now.
Hey,
Look at me now. Look at me now.
there it is,
Do it.
man.
Do it. You're a smart guy.
Yeah,
What's up, buddy?
yeah. See,
Oh,
even my
so
boy's
nice.
like, yeah, work with him.
That's right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
right. What's up, buddy? Say hi,
What up,
Brendan.
buddy? What's up,
Say
Odie?
hello.
Oh, do you have
There we
any
go.
words
There
for the
we go.
people
We
at
got
home?
not yet. We're still making grunt. We're still grunting and groaning, but
All
we're
right, all
starting
right.
to we're communicating for sure.
We're
Let's
getting
say
there.
hello.
Yeah, I hear him. Well, if you want to plug yourself at all, if there's anywhere where people can find you, find your classes, more information about you and how they can change the way they drink, learn from you, have some fun in your classes, where's that at?
It's spiritedlexington.com. So SPIRITED Lexington.com. We've got an online calendar. Working on the website. And obviously, we always want things to be better, but right now it's
Mhm.
functioning. And there's a calendar, the dates and the classes and things, so you can get as much information there. Same IG handles at Spirited Lexington, and then my Instagram is Royal Tannenbaum. We'll play on words there from one of my favorite movies, but RoyalTannenBomb. Check me out.
There we go. All right, perfect, man. Well, unless you have any closing words to say, I think we're going to wrap that up for today.
Oh, not at all, man. Just a big thank you to the program. It's been life changing, and thank you, man. Love you, man. Stay up.
Love you too, man. Excited to see where we take this thing in the future. We're just getting started, man.